posts. The first is what's called a thumb block, where I'm posting against him here with my thumb down. It's going to make it really hard for him to come into me, and I can really use this to control distance. I can also thumb block inside of the elbow here and do the same thing. Again, control his ability to try and tie me, right? I can also just grab the wrist. And this wrist can function just to keep him from using his arm, but also I can use it to move him or control him. And again, I can grab the wrist like this here. I can also grab it this way, which will allow me access to the inside. So those are some kind of like initial posts. Then probably the most common tie-up would be a collar tie, where I'm coming up and grabbing his head near his collar. That's why it's called a collar tie. And what I can do with this is I can push with it, boom. I can pull with it, right? And I can also go sideways with it. And all three of those, I'm not just using heavy hands, I'm also moving my feet. So when I push with my forearm here, I'm driving with my feet. When I pull on the back of his head, I'm pulling with my feet. When I push him sideways, I'm circling away from it. So that's my collar tie. He comes collar tie on me. I can fight for an inside tie here. And what I'm doing with the inside tie is I'm controlling the inside space, and I can use this to push, right? And I'm pushing on his shoulders, and I can also use it to pull, boom. So I got push, pull here, spin, right? And again, I'm pushing on his shoulder and pulling in the armpit with the same hand. When I do that, I'm really gonna try and avoid using my thumb. I wanna kind of meat hook it there. He comes collar tie. I can also go elbow tie here, which is gonna allow me to pull and to duck, but also I can pull this to my chest, which really kind of takes away his collar tie and allows me to control him here. He comes collar tie. I can do something called an over tie, where I'm coming over the top. There's two different kinds of over ties. So where I'm here, I'm kind of blocking inside, which again allows me to control distance, but I can also snap here. I can pull from the inside. I can also over tie to the collar here, which again gives me, I mean, he's still obviously got the inside space, but gives me something to work with here. Another basic tie-up would be an underhook, right? So I'm digging an underhook here. There's two different kinds of underhooks. So I can underhook and kind of come to the shoulder, and from here, I can use this to lift him, gives me access to his legs, but I can also use this to snap here by pulling over the shoulder, snap, lift, pull, right? The second kind of underhook, instead of going over the shoulder, I'm really attacking the back here, and then this is going to allow me to get inside with my hips, which is going to open up a lot more throws, body locks, that kind of stuff. I can still drop for my shots as well, but it's giving me a lot more control over his body. He digs an underhook on me. I've got an overhook, and I can actually use this, come to the other side. I can use this like a whizzer, putting weight down, but also dig that underhook. I can use it to lift up and even block here. Right, so that's how I'm going to use an overhook. I think the last tie is a 2-on-1, right? So he posts on this side. I'm coming 2-on-1 here. 2-on-1 here. And there's two different ways I can use this 2-on-1. One is out in the open like I just did. Boom, here. This allows me to move him, move his arm, expose his legs. The other way I can do a 2-on-1 is to come deep. I'm attacking up into the shoulder, the armpit, and that really allows me to control his body. And again, I can move him with that. So those are kind of like the basic wrestling ties. Obviously, I can mix and match those, right? So I can go collar to wrist, collar, underhook, double under. I can mix and match those ties in different ways. Another couple of principles to add. I wasn't really doing a good job with head position during all of this because I'm talking with the camera, but while I'm wrestling, I'm maintaining head position. Boom. Right here, while I'm fighting for ties, I'm also aggressively using my hands, but also aggressively using my feet. And that would be a good basic introduction to the whole range of wrestling tie-ups.